Right now this morning, what's ahead for Wisconsin? Governor Evers tackles childcare, mental health, and more during tonight's State of the State. And the FDA giving the green light to a new nasal spray that could help with depression. What you need to know.
Well, it's right now not as cold as we were yesterday, but snow also will be following us this morning and later on today.
This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Wednesday, January 22nd. Yeah, there were some flakes falling when I was driving in.
Yeah.
Is it still snowing now?
Still snowing now, working its
Yay.
way down to Viroqua as well as we get into the early morning hours. We had snow up there in areas for Ladysmith down to Eau Claire. They'll get that back again as we go through the mid-morning hours. But for right now, we're holding on to the possibility of seasonal average temperatures for this afternoon. And of course, the snow, as I mentioned before this morning, coming back again as we go into the evening hours. Take a look here. It's kind of interspersed. There's a lot. It's kind of spread out and broken apart a bit, but some of the snow will continue to track from northwest all the way down to the south. And as it goes, it will continue to bring in more snow for the kids going to school today for areas around I-90 going southward. You're going to see that snow. You can see by Viroqua right now. La Crosse still in it with a little bit more of that coming back again with another round coming out of Black River Falls and then working its way down to the south and southeast. As we go into it, the winds also, though, kind of slinging up from the southwest and continue to move up. You see how tight they get a little bit more so as you get closer to Minneapolis. That's the area of low pressure that's a little bit closer there. So all that wind is getting carried up a little bit more to the north. So what's falling south will start to work its way a little bit more so going northward. In fact, we'll also find ourselves with the wind gusts kicking in, holding on to some breezy and gusty winds this morning. Then they back off going into the late morning as winds switch out, coming back again from the northwest. Current temperatures right now, we're holding on to 9 to about, say, 10 degrees out there. In fact, some areas getting a little bit cooler on the 5 to 6 degree side in the central portion of the area here locally. Wind chill as you carry through. You're going to be seeing those winds start to go to the minus, but by the time we get in the 8 o'clock hour, that begins to back off for some locations going into the 9 o'clock hour as well, and then temperatures start to respond. Getting a little bit on the warmer side. We're holding on to Eau Claire, 14 to about 23 degrees once we go from the 8 o'clock into the noon hour under cloudier conditions. We'll hold on to at least cloudier skies coming back for La Crosse as well. 8 a.m., 16 degrees, carrying over to 25 degrees once we get into the noon hour. More about this coming up for you in a moment.
Thank you, Art. Happening now, parts of the south waking up to a winter wonderland after record-breaking snowfall. Snow fell as far south as Pensacola, Florida, part of a system stretching from Texas to the Florida Panhandle. New Orleans getting its biggest snowfall on record. Bitter cold also descending on parts of 30 states. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office needs your help this morning. 76-year-old David Wolf is missing from Sparta. He was last seen January 14th near Barrel Road. He's 6'1", 200 pounds with gray hair and a goatee. He has a scar on his shoulder and he might be driving a gray 2008 Buick LaCrosse with a Wisconsin license plate. If you see him, contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. President Trump facing legal battles just days into his second term. A federal judge taking up the first challenge to his birthright citizenship order this week. 20 states calling that unconstitutional. Meanwhile, a new CBS memo shows Trump moving to end federal DEI programs. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from Washington.
Thank you.
This morning, the Trump administration is already preparing to defend one of the president's newest executive actions. Tomorrow, a federal judge in Seattle is set to hear arguments in a challenge brought by several states against his order that seeks to deny birthright citizenship to the children of undocumented immigrants and people here on temporary visas.
No president can unilaterally change the Constitution on a whim.
Tuesday, Trump issued another immigration directive, reversing a Biden-era policy that banned deportation agents from making arrests at sensitive locations like schools and churches.
We're getting them out of the country.
His border czar says targeted enforcement is already underway. At Tuesday's National Prayer Service, the bishop at the National Cathedral made a direct plea to President Trump.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
Trump said the sermon didn't move him, posting overnight the bishop was, quote, nasty in tone and not compelling or smart.
I think it was a good service.
As the president works to overhaul the federal government, overnight CBS News obtained a memo directing all federal employees in roles related to diversity, equity, and inclusion be placed on paid leave by the end of today. and canceled all trainings related to diversity. On the economy, Tuesday, Trump announced billions in private sector investments in artificial intelligence.
It'll ensure the future of technology.
Meanwhile, today, more of the 1,500 plus January 6th rioters he pardoned are set to be released.
Trump also announced a full pardon for Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht. The FBI once called his underground website the, quote, most sophisticated and extensive criminal marketplace on the internet. He'd been serving a life sentence since 2015, which Trump called ridiculous. And Trump also pardoning 11 Wisconsin residents convicted for their roles in the January 6th Capitol riot. Most were found guilty of entering a restricted building and disorderly conduct. 2 of those pardoned, including Eau Claire resident Kevin Loftus, attempted to flee the country to avoid sentencing. Loftus told the FBI he planned to join the Russian military. An Onalaska teen is in custody after an attempted armed robbery Monday night. Police say a masked person pointed a gun at a driver at 10 p.m. at the Barrel Inn, then drove away. Officers found 17-year-old Anthony Ulvestad half a mile away with a loaded gun. He's charged with armed robbery and faces a $25,000 cash bond. The suspect in a Northside La Crosse shooting faces $1 million cash bond. Police say 28-year-old Cody Allen shot and killed Justin Betts outside of Newey's Vogue Bar early Sunday morning. The 2 reportedly argued inside. Police say Allen then shot Betts in the parking lot. He's charged with first-degree intentional homicide. A La Crosse drug dealer will spend 4 years in prison. 26-year-old Lathan Foster sold drugs that led to an overdose death. He's also facing 5 years probation and must pay $12,000. Foster is banned from contacting the victim's family. A Tomah stabbing suspect faces a judge this morning. Police arrested 18-year-old Leo Plugrim after a stabbing at Tomah Health in December. Police say the victim was stabbed in the upper body during a fight. The charges include attempted homicide with a dangerous weapon. DNA testing helps set innocent people free. Now a $1 million grant could help more Wisconsin inmates prove that they are innocent. News 8's Grace Monk reports.
Individuals who believe they're wrongfully convicted asked the Madison Agency to look into their cases.
We get close to 100 applications a year, and so over our history, we've, thousands of people have written into us.
Investigations often require DNA testing, something the clinic hasn't always had the money for or access to.
We've had a number of cases where we've sort of hit dead ends, where it seemed like there was no more DNA to test, or there wasn't enough DNA to test. With advances in DNA testing, we can get results now with much less DNA.
When DNA testing was introduced in the 1980s, it had limitations. Now with modern technology, even the slightest DNA evidence can overturn a case.
There are a lot more cases that involve DNA from someone leaving a hair, or touch DNA where people's skin cells are left. And so those cases are more complicated, and as a result, the cost of those cases does increase. So even collecting the evidence can be pretty expensive.
The grant will allow them to help people they previously turned away.
I think we'll be able to look back at least 20 cases. Of course, whether we can do anything, whether the evidence is still around, whether the things can still be tested, that unfortunately I don't know, but I think we should have at least 20 cases.
Lau says they plan to focus on cases involving Black, Latino, and Indigenous individuals. Grace Monk, News 8 Now This Morning.
The Innocence Project says it'll also use the money to hire another investigator and 2 attorneys to help with that caseload. An electrical fire destroyed an Onalaska trucking business. Fire officials say a charging lithium battery started the blaze at Strupp Trucking. Nobody was hurt, but you see here the building is a total loss. And a burning garbage truck shut down Highway 16. The driver had to dump the load near Burns when it caught fire inside the truck. Firefighters put it out in about an hour. The county then salted the road to prevent ice. Nobody was hurt. And your garbage could start a fire. Here's what not to throw away. Batteries can spark fires in garbage trucks. We saw that also the story before that one. Also, don't toss alcohol. That's highly flammable. And those fireplace ashes can stay hot for days, so avoid throwing those out as well. And the La Crosse Fire Department is holding training at the Pink Palace. The training allows firefighters to prepare for emergencies in a realistic home environment. Some of the exercises include technique training, search and rescue, and incident command. In December, the Common Council voted to demolish the building for a new housing development. Governor Tony Evers is set to deliver his annual State of the State address this evening. He's expected to lay out Wisconsin's policy priorities for the year. The speech is set to start at 7 and will be streamed online. Time now is 6:09. Still ahead on your morning news, JetBlue announcing flyers can now use a new form of payment. We'll tell you what it is. A suspect accused of setting Glenn Grothman's office on fire. We'll tell you why. And one of the most viewed YouTubers of all time is placing his own bid on TikTok. If you're planning a trip to Europe, a few new visa requirements you'll want to know about. We'll tell you about that. And for now, sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. A Good Samaritan and police officer in Alaska worked together to save a juvenile bald eagle that was found nearly frozen and unable to fly. After warming the ailing eagle in a toasty patrol car, there he is warming up. Officers worked with wildlife authorities who checked out the thawed out bird, giving it the thumbs up before sending it back up where it belongs. And as you start to wake up this morning, we're leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the city that held the first nighttime World Series game. They didn't tell me in the script what city this is. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There you see it. Nothing nice there this morning. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is coming up.
Winter is here. And with winter weather come accidents and mishaps. Whether you're on your way to work, walking the dog, or out on the trail, accidents can happen. At Bygoff and Rohde, we help you get the settlement you deserve to put your life back on track.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun they're having, it's easy to take for granted how they warm up, by the fire, or simply adjusting their thermostat. But for some of us, it's not that easy. Some of us need to decide whether to heat or to eat, or to further neglect our basic survival needs. We are working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans, all struggling to pay record heating bills. These dangerous temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for us, they can be deadly. If you are struggling to decide if you can put food on the table or heat your home, please reach out for a hand up. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
At Overhead Door Company, we repair any garage door and only install the best. Serving up to 100 miles outside of the Onalaska, Wisconsin area. When you need a door company you can trust with your life, call Overhead Door Company of the Seven Rivers region.
Hip, knee, or back pain? See if Arch Supports can help you at the Good Feet store.
For the best quality, value, and selection in fine furnishings, there's no place like home.
Welcome to Hazel and Lola's Kitchen Boutique, your new go-to for all things gourmet and kitchen chic. From artisanal cookware to unique gourmet ingredients, we've got everything to inspire your inner chef. Discover our exclusive collection of kitchen gadgets, quality knives, and delicious culinary delights. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a home cooking enthusiast, Hazel and Lola's is here to elevate your kitchen game. Hazel and Lola's, located inside Wesco and Sparta. Stop in today and tell them Peyton sent you.
The First Warn Weather app. Download it today.
When you're dealing with your own insurance company, you may think that they're on your side, but the truth is, they're not. They're only concerned about their bottom line. That's why you need to hire Bygoff and Rohde. We get results.
Well, Well, good morning to you. As we get into it, the local temperatures are feeling like they're -3 to at least 0 degrees in Black River Falls. Here in La Crosse, we're looking at -5 for La Crosse, and then down to Viroqua, -7, 11 degrees for Prairie du Chien as you go into your forecast. Take a look at this, though. The wind chill, not so bad here as we go all the way in from the 5 o'clock hour, like I just showed you, to 6 o'clock, -6, all the way down to 0 degrees for La Crosse, about 11 degrees still holding on to areas right by Prairie du Chien. Eau Claire, by the time we get in the 8 o'clock hour, you're looking at 3 degrees. And then continuing on by the 10 o'clock hour or so, La Crosse is at 11 degrees, as well as Lansing, Viroqua at 4. Then by the time we get into the 1 o'clock hour, you're looking at 15 degrees for Eau Claire, 12 degrees for Ladysmith, and La Crosse at 18 degrees getting into your forecast. Finishing out the evening, you're having at least 5 o'clock. You're looking at about, say, 17 degrees for La Crosse, going into snow, possibly moving into the forecast. Then colder air starts to drop down on top of us by 9 o'clock, and we start to clear out the skies, holding on to colder conditions in the forecast. Flurries of the possibility here, 7 a.m. for La Crosse, going into 13 degrees there for you, with cloudy skies coming in all the way into the 1 o'clock hour. Those cloudy skies will maintain into the remainder of the day. And of course, snow could return back again around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock for La Crosse. It will be in there for areas by Eau Claire. All right, how about this? Current visibility, not a major issue right now, but we're holding on to Marshfield at 4 miles for visibility, 7 down into areas right by Viroqua, 5 for Boscobel. So a little patchy fog down to the south. We'll also hold on to the cloud cover that's down there right now, but you can see once we get into the late morning and early evening hours, we're going to be seeing some visibility issues popping back in the picture. This is around the noon hour. Once we get into the 4 o'clock hour in the early afternoon there, or evening commute, you're going to be seeing more visibility issues going in all the way through 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. You can see that continuing on there to finish out. Highs for today, you're looking at widespread 20s to the low 30s. Get out and enjoy it if you can, but drive safely because snow is on the roadway eventually. Have a great day. All right, back to you.
You'll soon be able to book a JetBlue flight using Venmo. JetBlue announcing the payment option is now available on its website, and it is a first for airlines, and the payment option will be available in the coming months on the mobile app. The announcement comes as the struggling airline continues to look for new ways to make money. Wisconsin police arresting a 19-year-old accused of setting fire to Republican Congressman Glenn Grothman's office. Police say the suspect told them he set it on fire because of the TikTok ban. That is Trump signed that executive order that delays enforcement of the ban for 75 days. Congressman Grothman was one of hundreds of lawmakers to vote in favor of the law, including all 6 of Wisconsin's Republican representatives. YouTube star Mr. Beast wants to buy TikTok. What started as a joke is now a serious bid, according to his lawyer. He's teamed up with wealthy investors for the purchase. The offer amount is still unknown. TikTok has not commented. He's not alone. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary also made an offer. If you're planning a trip to Europe this year, there are new visa requirements for travelers. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains what you need to know before your flight.
Heading to Europe this year, there are some big changes that travelers need to be aware of. As of January 8th, Americans traveling for less than 6 months to or through the United Kingdom, that includes England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, will need what's known as an electronic travel authorization. It's basically a digital registration to get into the UK.
That is something that you apply for with the UK government, gov.uk.
All U.S. citizens traveling, even children under 18, need to apply through the UK government website or through the app on their website. You'll need to upload a photo of your passport, as well as a photo of yourself, and answer various questions about your trip. It takes about 20 minutes to complete. There's also a fee. It costs £10, which is roughly $12.25, depending on the exchange rate. Travelers must fill it out and pay for the ETA before their trip. It takes about 3 days to be approved, but UK officials warn it could take longer.
Once you're approved, it's good for 2 years, so you don't have to keep filling out the form.
So what happens if you forget to fill it out?
There is a chance that you will not be allowed in the country.
Later this year, the European Union will also be rolling out new travel forms. It's called ETIAS. When those go into effect, they will cost about $7.70.
You need to just account for that when you're putting together your budget for your big European vacation, and understand that as time goes on, more and more countries are going to require them, and those seemingly small fees can certainly add up.
That's a look at your consumer news. We'll send it over now to Art. He has a look at our weather.
All right, and away we go. We'll look at conditions to be like this as we start off with snow working into the forecast. Now, it's pretty broken up coming out of some colder air, of course, from Canada, but we have this area of low pressure that's with us. High pressure down to the south, and with that, we're seeing some very breezy and gusty winds. First, those winds are coming out of the southwest, and eventually they're going to turn back to northwesterly winds coming into the forecast area and getting pretty breezy to finish out. All right, so that being said, big old ridge of high pressure begins, keeping most of that moisture from the Pacific out of the area here and keeping it close to the coastal areas there. Snow starting to build up as we go in these central plain states and northern plain states, kind of working all the way down into areas right down as far as Albuquerque, New Mexico. We also had that snow that was all the way down to the south in the Gulf of Mexico, or at least along the Gulf states, and now it's turning more so into rain and heading out to sea. We'll also be holding on to temperatures that aren't as cold as they were yesterday. However, as we start the morning, it's not as cold, but once we get in the afternoon, we're talking about seasonal average temperatures in the forecast, even with light snow in the forecast for this morning, carrying over into the evening as well through portions of your evening commute. Now, as we go into it, the kids going to school today, 15 degrees under mostly cloudy skies and breezy conditions. There is a wind chill out there holding on to that light snow. Once we get into the afternoon, though, it's more of a chance because that snow will probably come back again around, say, the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour slot. We'll also see this for La Crosse. 27 degrees for our high today. We'll also be picking up the possibility of kids that already have snow earlier this morning, so it's already on the ground. 13 degrees for Eau Claire, getting into snow, possibly coming back again as we go into 3 o'clock hours. Kids are heading home from school. 27 degrees for you under cloudier skies in the forecast. Looking pretty good outside right now. There may be a light flurry from time to time moving through the area, but it is light right now. We'll hold on to Warrens here, looking at their roadways right now. Looks a little slick out there. 9 degrees, feels like -3 degrees out there. And in Black River Falls, doesn't look like it's reporting right now, or it may just show up in just a moment. It's 11 degrees out there. It feels like it's 1 degree, so that wind chill is kicking in. Holding on to at least 23 degrees all the way up to about 31 degrees for your highs today. We're looking at 27 for La Crosse, Eau Claire, also at 27. And then you can see other locations are pretty much in between, or at least down to the lower conditions. You'll see that snow continuing to hold on as we go through the morning hours first. Then it redevelops coming up as those southwesterly winds are pushing some of that back in to the area here before we switch out to the northwesterly winds. The snow is back up by Eau Claire, extending back down to the south as those winds turn from northwesterly now, pushing that snow down to the south as it does, going into the evening commute around 6 o'clock or so for everybody. Then it begins to break down by at least 7 to 8 o'clock, and it's done. Most of that clearing starts to work from north to south, clearing out the skies as we go all the way into the midnight hour, and we should be done with the snow. You're seeing at least maybe about an inch or less of snow for the forecast today. As you go into it with today for La Crosse, you're looking at skies to be cloudy to mostly cloudy, holding on to snow coming back again for the late afternoon hours. You can see by 4 o'clock. For La Crosse, or Eau Claire, I should say, you're going to be seeing more snow coming back between, say, maybe 2 to 3 in the afternoon as a slight chance. And again, 4 o'clock on the ground for everybody else. We'll hold on to conditions that'll be like this today, 27 to 13 degrees, light snow, then cold conditions come back again for tomorrow. Back into at least 24 degrees coming in for Friday with warming temperatures going into your weekend with a 20% chance of rain on Saturday. So that's a slight chance of moving into the picture with warmer conditions on the way going into next week.
All right, Art, thank you. Coming up, they may add more flavor into your favorite foods, but they could also add calories. We'll take a look at a few ways you can drop or lower the amount of liquid sugar you consume.
Coming up in the Blitz, some area hoop squads braving the cold last night in MVC play, plus a Southpaw immortalized as he's receiving the ultimate honor. Hear from him shortly.
Brad Schimmel, prosecutor, attorney general, rule of law judge. Schimmel put pedophiles behind bars, took on criminal illegals and cartels, protected kids and seniors from abuse.
Law school taught me the rights of the accused, but justice for the abused is denied all too often. I'm Brad Schimmel. On the state Supreme Court, I'll apply the law equally because everyone has the right to feel safe.
Schimmel, for justice.
Attention business owners, start 2025 confidently with Your Choice Roofing, your trusted partner for commercial roofing solutions. Our expert craftsmanship and premium materials ensure a roof that stands the test of time. Don't wait, our schedule is filling up fast. Get ahead of the rush and secure your spot now to protect your building and your bottom line. Visit yourchoiceroofing.com today to get started.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily Jardians at each day start. As time went on, it was easy to see I'm lowering my A1C.
And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardians can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine, which can be fatal. Stop Jardians and call your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, trouble breathing, or increased ketones. Jardians may cause dehydration that can suddenly worsen kidney function and make you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or weak upon standing. Genital yeast infections in men and women, urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, or a rare life-threatening bacterial infection between and around the anus and genitals can occur. Call your doctor right away if you have fever or feel weak or tired, and pain, tenderness, swelling, or redness in the genital area. Don't use if allergic to Jardians. Stop use if you have a serious allergic reaction. Call your doctor if you have rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, or swallowing. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss. Call your doctor right away if you have new pain or tenderness, sores, ulcers, or infection in your legs or feet.
Jardians is really swell, the little pill with a big story to tell.
With winter here, our job hasn't changed. The First Warn Weather Team is always ready to keep you safe and ahead of winter's worst. And you can always get us no matter where you are.
Keeping you safe. First Warn Weather on News 8 Now. First Warn Weather on News 8 Now.
Blitz. Well, it was supposed to be a busy Tuesday night of high school hoops, turned into most of the state postponing or canceling games due to cold temperatures. But not too chilly for Sparta and Aquinas. Early first half, Spartans playing well. Ball is swung around to Everett Laufenberg, and the sophomore hands it to tie things up. Next possession, it's Braden Young getting to the cup and finishing to put the Blue Golds back in front. Then more good offense from the visitors. Caden Cott spots Owen Arendes for the deuce, but Aquinas would start to pull away. Home side swinging it around to Logan Becker, who connects from distance. Blue Golds keep things rolling as they pick up the win by 24 over Sparta. Then over at Sparta High School, we had the girls in action. Blue Golds hot right out of the gates off the opening tip. They'll find Olivia Pasale open in the corner, knocks down the three ball. Aquinas out in front. Spartans trying to keep pace. Lily Seifert goes inside to Izzy Mickelson off the glass for two. Sparta on the board, but this Blue Gold squad is tough to slow down. Brooklyn Roar for three, nothing but net. And then Ava Fernholz going right to the hoop, gets the shot to fall plus the foul. Aquinas would get the win, 75-33. Well, after an illustrious career in the majors that included a Cy Young Award, six-time All-Star selection, World Series winner, and ALCS MVP, CC Sabathia became a first-ballot Hall of Famer yesterday for his time with the Yankees, Brewers, and Indians. 3,500-plus innings pitched, almost 3,100 strikeouts, and his time with the crew, he brought a new meaning to the word workhorse.
You know, even down to those days in Milwaukee, you know, I was feeling good and wanted a chance to pitch every 3 days, and, you know, they allowed me to do that, and, you know, I'm grateful for it. But, you know, every time, you know, there was an opportunity for me to take the ball in a big spot or just, you know, game one of a playoff series, game one of the season, I was up to do it.
Sabathia pitched on 3 days rest and 3 consecutive starts. Pitched the crew into their first postseason since 1982. Boy, was he fun to watch during that 2008 run. A special talent, even though the crew only had him for a few months. I'll do for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
We've done many, many renovations. We bought an old house and have made it into an up-to-date house. Whenever anything involves plumbing, the first call I make is to Maxwell White. Their technicians put together a great final product.
Brad Schimmel. He wants to bring back the 1849 law that bans all abortions, with no exceptions for rape or incest. Schimmel gave plea deals to child molesters, let domestic abusers walk with no jail time. And he's the one who let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for 2 years, while survivors waited for justice. That's Brad Schimmel. Too extreme for the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Taco John's just married a taco with a quesadilla. Well, they're more like grilled all-white meat chicken and creamy fiesta sauce with melty cheesy benefits. But OM Cheese, they're good together. The new OM Cheese Quesadilla Taco at Taco John's.
Join News 8 Now for the 102nd Annual Westby Ski Jump, January 31st and February 1st. Athletes from all over the world compete at speeds exceeding 50 miles per hour on the Olympic-sized ski hill. Visit snowflakeskiClub.com to buy a button today.
This is Kathy. She's about to see her dentist. She's afraid. Not because of the drill, but because of the bill. A big bill. But Kathy doesn't need to be afraid, and neither do you, thanks to affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. It's easy to get this coverage. Don't believe me? Call or go online for all the details. You could even have this free information kit. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance. It helps pay for over 400 procedures. That's a lot. I'm talking cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures. Bottom line, you'll have help paying for routine care and expensive major work. But if you want deductibles, forget it. There aren't any. No annual maximum either. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. Stop fearing the big bill. Start saving at the dentist. Call now or go to sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Here at Maxwell White, we know how valuable your time is. From issues with your hot water to slower clogged drains, our team is always on time with friendly service and solutions you can trust. Don't wait. Contact Maxwell White. Plumbing done right.
The News 8 Plus app. Local news on your time. Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
In your morning medical news, the Food and Drug Administration has approved a new standalone treatment for depression. The drug, Spravato, is a nasal spray made by Johnson & Johnson. It was first approved in 2019 for adults living with major depressive disorder who also received an oral antidepressant. Now the drug can be used on its own by adults who have not responded to at least 2 other antidepressants. Due to some of its adverse side effects, it can only be administered by a healthcare professional. They are put into foods during processing, but consuming too many added sugars can be harmful to our health, leading to problems like weight gain and obesity, type 2 diabetes, and even heart disease. While these sugars can be found in many foods you eat, they're also found in beverages. Mandy Gaither explains how you can cut down on your liquid sugar consumption.
It's found in foods like cakes, ice cream, and many other sweet treats. But added sugar is also found in things you drink, and experts say consuming too much sugar is a big problem in the U.S.
Most of that sugar doesn't come from what we eat, it's in what we drink.
In the U.S., adults and young adults ingest about 17 teaspoons of added sugar on an average day. That's more than 2 to 3 times the recommended daily allowance. Besides the extra calories, recent research reveals even 1 serving of sugary drinks a day can put you at higher risk for heart disease, says Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
It's no surprise that the American Heart Association recommends water as the best thing to drink throughout the day.
Drinks that contain a lot of sugar include sodas, sports drinks, energy drinks, and fruit-flavored beverages. So how can you help yourself opt for water instead? Gupta says to try carrying a water bottle with you at all times for easy access. And to stay hydrated, make sure you drink before you feel thirsty.
Want to make it more appealing? Try adding slices of fruit for flavor or a splash of 100% juice. Put that in plain sparkling water.
The American Heart Association says also check nutrition labels. Food manufacturers are now required to list how much added sugar is in a product in grams as a % of daily value. The organization says that allows consumers to easily figure out how much added sugar is in a food or drink. A bill to help new moms may be blocked in Madison. The plan would extend Medicaid coverage from 60 days to 1 year after giving birth. Pro-life groups and health officials support it. The Senate passed it 32-1, but Assembly Speaker Robin Boss won't let it come up for a vote. Wisconsin Republicans want to reverse changes to student testing standards. The Department of Public Instruction lowered what counts as proficient last year. They also changed terms like below basic to developing. Assembly Speaker Voss says these changes lower standards. Governor Evers also criticized the move. Bangor schools will try again for more funding this April. The district wants $900,000 a year for 3 years. Voters said no to a similar plan in November by just 64 votes. The district says this new plan won't raise taxes. A winter hike turned into a rescue mission at Trumpelow Wildlife Refuge. Viola Finch and her grandfather spotted a deer stranded on the ice. The animal lovers worked together using their hands and feet to help push the frightened deer to safety. The Jackson County family says it is a hike they will never forget.
Me and my grandpa went down to the edge of the water and we could actually see ears on the object and we could see that it was moving. Obviously it was scared and it kind of started coming at me, but when its legs would just kind of go out, that's when we knew that like it must have, it's probably in pain or it hurt its legs and it can't move.
Finch adds it was risky because you can't always tell how thick the ice is. After a warm winter weather cut their event short last year, organizers of the U.S. Pond Hockey Championship say the ice this year some of the best they've seen. John Lawrenson shows us the changes at Lake Nokomis to accommodate teams and fans.
Just layer up, put some music in, try to have fun, and just know gotta get ready for hockey.
Jake Brown is getting ready for hockey in sub-zero temperatures. He's part of T-Rex Rinks, which has been tasked with helping to first clear off snow on Lake Nokomis and then build rinks for skaters and walking paths for fans.
This morning, Bobcat froze up. The snow bosses work awesome, luckily in the cold, but changing them out, your hands freeze half the time.
He hopes his efforts in the deep freeze are appreciated by the 280 teams showing up this week to play in the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships.
Even though the forecast looks much more favorable compared to a year ago, organizers have made a few changes to make sure things run smoothly.
January temperatures in 2024 reached 40 degrees, and the ice got so wet that the tournament was cut short.
Last year was a different beast. We had a quick freeze and then it warmed up, so we lost that second weekend.
Organizer Jesse DeLawrence says that was part of the reason why everything has been combined into 1 week. The puck drops Wednesday and the finals will be Sunday. Instead of trying to play in slush and slop for the 20th anniversary of the event, teams will be skating on some of the best ice they've seen in years. All thanks to the bitter cold.
Playing conditions is going to be great. I mean, it might be in the, low, maybe 10 to 15 degrees in the morning, but in the afternoons, 25 degrees. So you can't ask for better. It's hockey the way nature intended. We always like to say that, and it's going to be a heck of an event.
This year is the 20th anniversary of the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships, and they're expecting about 2,700 skaters from across the world. Now we'll send it over to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He has a look at our morning commute.
Alexandra, I haven't skated on ice in quite some time, but I miss it. It's fun. All right, we get into it here. Satellite imagery showing you that moisture coming out of Canada and, of course, along the northern tier of the United States. Here's that snow that passed right by Eau Claire and Ladysmith earlier this morning up to the north, and now it's kind of sagging down to the south here locally for us currently as we start this early morning. Your current temperatures are holding on to 11 degrees. You got 9 in Marshfield. Eau Claire is going to continue to hold on to that temperature as we go in the next hour or so, but La Crosse about 10 degrees right now, so temperatures are not as cold as they were yesterday, man. We'll get into it here. -3, that's what it feels like in Eau Claire right now. La Crosse, it feels like it's -5. We'll do the same for Sparta. 2 degrees it feels like in Black River Falls, believe it or not, one of our coldest spots. And of course, we're also seeing as we get into Viroqua, -7 degrees, 11 degrees for Prairie du Chien. Now, I showed you the winds earlier. We're going to see these winds coming out of the southwest. They're up to about 29 miles per hour, so they're about 31 miles per hour over in Toma. We'll also see these winds begin to taper down gradually as we go into it. Why? Because the winds are going to switch on us slowly but surely. They'll start to come in out of the northwest as we go into the afternoon, and when they do, they'll be coming out of that northwest, ushering in colder air, and of course the possibility of more snow on the way as the low pressure system is moving across with more snow for our forecast forecast today. The wind chill tracker, as you can see, as we finish out, you're holding this on. The temperatures are moving well above 0 degrees, so we'll get back into seasonal average temperatures to finish today. As you can see, by 5 p.m., we're holding on to conditions to be like that as we go into the evening all the way to midnight. Cloudy skies with snow on the way into your evening commute, but it only lasts till about 6 o'clock. We'll do the same for La Crosse as well. Cloudy skies to at least snow lingering into 7 p.m., maybe into 8 p.m. as well before it breaks down by 9 o'clock. We'll also get into the forecast for the kiddos heading to school. For La Crosse, they're starting in snow at 15 degrees, of course, with breezy conditions. That's a look at your forecast. We have the Black Eyed Peas have postponed their scheduled Vegas residency. Everybody's going to Vegas, right? We'll have more about the delay when we come back with your local forecasting around.
Home Furniture, where quality meets style and value. The timeless elegance of our fine furniture gallery. The modern, urban look of Uptown. The handmade perfection of Amish craftsmen. Or the rustic charm of Lodge Furniture. Whatever your lifestyle, there's no place like home.
Attention business owners. Start 2025 confidently with Your Choice Roofing, your trusted partner for commercial roofing solutions. Our expert craftsmanship and premium materials ensure a roof that stands the test of time. Don't wait. Our schedule is filling up fast. Get ahead of the rush and secure your spot now to protect your building and your bottom line. Visit yourchoiceroofing.com today to get started.
For the professional, it's not enough to possess knowledge. We seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries. Knowledge is put to the test in every GMC Sierra. Get 0% APR on 2024 Sierra 1500 models. That's over $5,600 in average finance savings.
Visit your best choice GMC dealer today.
We see you out there, giving your whole heart to what you do. That doesn't mean you have to give your whole wallet, too. It's why we make sure that as you find your way, you can find value along the way. Like 50-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seed, $19.99. $7 off select Neutrino Loyal Life puppy food. And save $130 on these men's Ariat boots.
That's what I'm talking about.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
This is the highlight of my day, but my hip pain made it a struggle. My personalized arch support system got me back in the picture.
Clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Book your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. With Skyrizi, feel symptom relief at 4 weeks. Many people were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 3 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Control is everything.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Skyrizi.
Get a sleep like no other on an Heirloom mattress from Home Sleep Express. And right now, pay no interest for 5 years. Plus, get free white glove delivery, setup, and a 120-night guarantee. Heirloom, the perfect sleep, night after night. At Home Sleep Express.
All right, and away we go with your local forecast. As mentioned, low pressure system holding on right now, moving over the area gradually as we go into the afternoon, though. It's going to start making its move to the east, and that's when our winds begin to shift from the southwest, turning to northwesterly. That colder air is going to get ushered in right through the ring right there, continuing to move into the area, and as it does, well, we're going to be seeing a little bit more snow in the forecast as we finish out the afternoon going into the evening. Cold conditions, yeah, but not as cold as yesterday. We already told you about that. We'll also see right now a little bit of snow working in the forecast across the central area, and of course working southward, and eventually we'll have more of that light snow coming back again for the evening hours, or at least the late afternoon going into the early evening. Should be done just around, say, 6 o'clock to about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock or so before the evening commute is totally done. Little light flurries were on the roadways earlier this morning. As you can see, a little bit more snow than what they had yesterday, forewarns, and now we'll get into areas by Black River Falls, which is now showing showing here. A little bit of light flurries have already fallen as well, so a little bit of light snow on the ground. Nothing to get too icy or to really to worry about right now. No minor portions of trouble for your local drive to work. We're holding on to widespread 20s today under mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. We'll also get into the possibility of more of that snow that's working through here now, going southward to Prairie du Chien, Decorah, as well as in Boscobel. We'll also see this continue to come back again up in areas right by to the north of us along I-94. And of course, as it does, it's going to drag more down to the south as those winds turn to the west-northwest. And as it does, more of that colder air and snow is going to start to track down to the south, clearing up the skies gradually from the north and then now working southward along the area. By the time we get in the 9 o'clock hour, you still see maybe a little bit of light snow trying to get down to areas by La Crosse and then continuing to dry out. In fact, skies open up. In fact, we'll see those clearing skies continue on. As far as we go all the way into the 11 o'clock hour to midnight tonight, we're looking at possibly up to about an inch, maybe up to at least a couple of inches down to the south, since they're going to have most of the snow later on today. We'll go into the look for La Crosse as we finish out from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You're going to see some cloudier skies pop into the picture, and then holding on to at least snow coming back probably around 4 o'clock going into the evening commute, and it should be done by the 8 o'clock hour, as you see there. Holding on to Eau Claire as well. They had snow earlier this morning before sunrise, but then again, you're going to be seeing more snow possibly coming back again as we go into the early afternoon, possibly coming into the latter portion of the afternoon, and then should be done going into your evening commute. As we look at your next 8 days, though, away we go with temperatures to be on the mild side pretty much, going into colder conditions. So we're going on a mini roller coaster ride. Used to love those little coasters that kind of give you that short dip down. That's what's going to happen for tomorrow. Then we get into milder conditions for Friday going into your weekend with light snow as a 20% chance of trying to hit the ground, and then milder conditions and drier conditions into next week. Back to you.
The Baseball 2025 Hall of Fame class has been unveiled. That includes outfielder Ichiro Suzuki. He is the first Japanese player ever elected to the Hall of Fame, and doing so in a near unanimous vote. Also elected is pitcher CC Sabathia. He won 251 games and struck out more than 3,000 batters. The Hall of Fame ceremony will take place in July. The Black Eyed Peas will not be performing in Sin City, at least for the time being. According to a statement, the group's scheduled residency at Las Vegas's Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino is now postponed. The group was set to do a series of shows between February and May. Officials say full refunds will be offered.
No, I haven't felt or sensed anything unusual here. Do you mean like a
presence?
No. Have you?
Yes.
A family becomes convinced they are not alone after moving into their new home in the suburbs. Presence opens in theaters across the U.S. on Friday.
Perhaps it's a nice day to tour again. It's a nice day.
Tour again.
Billy Idol is in fact touring again. He's launching his 30-date coast-to-coast tour on April 30th in Phoenix. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts are special guests. General tickets go on sale on Friday. All right, before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Remy's turning 8 years old today, loves to play video games and camping, and likes to spend time with family.
And Millie is also turning 8. She loves to spend time with her family and is always making them smile.
How about Lawrence? He's turning 88 years old today, loves to spend time with his family, feeding the birds and trying his luck at casinos from time to time.
And twins, Jean and Janice, are also turning 88. They love to spend time with each other and are young at heart.
All right, if you know a special someone turning, I'm sorry about that, Alexandra, turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is coming up next.
Up on CBS Mornings, we have some big names joining us in studio. Award-winning actor Morris Chestnut is here to tell us about his new CBS drama, Watson. Also, Oscar and Grammy winner Questlove joins us to talk about his new documentary on the iconic music performances from Saturday Night Live over the last 50 years. And speaking of music only on CBS Mornings, our Anthony Mason has the honor of announcing the newest inductees to the Songwriters Hall of Fame. All of that coming up We will have more at 7. See you at 7.
When I'm done, cleaned up, and I take the customer down there, I go through it all with them and explain how the equipment operates, show them how the bypass operates, how to set the clock, how the unit actually backwashes, pulls brine, how a water softener actually works.
Your job title shouldn't define you, but in the job I'm running for, it should. I'm Brad Schimmel, and justice is my life's work. Helping Wisconsin's most vulnerable, stopping elder abuse, taking on human traffickers, putting pedophiles behind bars, and leading the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, clearing 4,000 backlogged tests so survivors could finally get justice. For me, it's not a title. It's my mission statement.
It's out with the old and in with the new. You know what they say. New year, new you. King Furniture is celebrating the new year with special trade-in offers. Trade in your old recliner for $50 towards a new one. Trade in your old sofa for $100. Trade in your old mattress for $75. And we'll deliver and haul away for free. Shop store-wide savings as we continue to clear out inventory and make room for new styles for 2025. Plus, get free delivery and 12 months no interest payments. The King Furniture New Year sale going on now.
No matter where I seat my guests, they seem to like the kitchen best. A kitchen's the heart of the home. It should be warm and welcoming. It should be attractive and functional. But it can be a real challenge unless you come here where you can meet with a designer, find all of the products that you need, and trust the project to our carpenters, plumbers, and electricians. For kitchens, bathrooms, and other home improvements, put your trust in the Board Store Home Improvements. Contact us today.
Don't settle with the insurance company until you've talked with Schwabel, Getz & Sieben.
I felt so special. I felt that I was going to be their #1 client.
I just got a great peace of mind knowing that I wasn't a case number, that we were doing this together.
We really did feel like we had a team behind us.
I was really impressed with how they treated us. They were backing us up 100%.
They always have your best interest in mind.
Go to Schwabel.com and fill out a free online case evaluation. There is no fee unless we win.
When I'm done, cleaned up, and I take the customer down there, I go through it all with them and explain how the equipment operates, show them how the bypass operates, how to set the clock, how the unit actually backwashes, pulls brine, how a water softener actually works.
With winter here, our job hasn't changed.
Winter weather advisory is still holding on.
The First Warn Weather Team is always ready to keep you safe and ahead of winter's worst.
Temperatures tumble down quickly.
So right now we do have that alert day for tonight and tomorrow for the snow.
See this band of snow passing through the area.
We're talking 25 to 30 below.
Breezy and gusty winds will ensue for tomorrow as well.
And you can always get us no matter where you are.
Keeping you safe. First Warn Weather on News 8 Now. The First Warn Weather app. Download it today.
Choice. I choose every day.
Feel joy. This is joy right here.
This room is just full of love. Let me show you how we do it. I got a few ladies here that you have inspired. You did it! Don't you want to meet those heroes? Come on out here. It feels so good to just be in the presence of this joy.
Weekdays at 4 on News 8.
Welcome back. It's 6:51. Time for your morning news now. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office needs your help. 76-year-old David Wolf is missing from Sparta. He was last seen January 14th near Barrel Road. He's 6'1", 200 pounds with gray hair and a goatee. He might be driving a gray 2008 Buick LaCrosse with a Wisconsin license plate. If you see him, contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. President Trump concentrating on immigration and AI infrastructure. During his first full day in office, he announced billions of dollars in private sector investment to build a supercomputer that will help develop the next generation of AI. And some of the nearly 1,600 January 6th rioters President Trump pardoned are getting released from prison. Far-right group leaders Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys and Stuart Rhodes of the Oath Keepers were also freed with more than 10 years left of their sentences. President Trump pardoning 11 Wisconsin residents who were convicted for their roles in the January 6th Capitol riot. Most were found guilty of entering a restricted building and disorderly conduct. Two of those pardoned, including Eau Claire resident Kevin Loftus, attempted to flee the country to avoid sentencing. Loftus telling the FBI he planned to join the Russian military. An Onalaska teen is in custody after an attempted armed robbery Monday night. Police say a masked person pointed a gun at a driver at 10 p.m. at the Barrel Inn, then drove away. Officers found 17-year-old Anthony Ulvestad half a mile away with a loaded gun. He's now charged with armed robbery and faces a $25,000 cash bond. The suspect in a Northside lacrosse shooting is facing $1 million cash bond. Police say 28-year-old Cody Allen shot and killed Justin Betts outside of Newey's Vogue bar early Sunday morning. The two reportedly argued inside. Police say Allen then shot Betts in the parking lot. He's charged with first-degree intentional homicide. A 7-figure grant could exonerate more wrongfully convicted people in Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Innocence Project, a legal clinic that works to free the wrongfully convicted, receiving $1.5 million from the Department of Justice. The funding will help cover costly DNA testing, allowing the clinic to investigate cases they previously could not.
We've had a number of cases where we've sort of hit dead ends, where it seemed like there was no more DNA to test, or there wasn't enough DNA to test. With advances in DNA testing, we can get results now with much less DNA. So we're looking back at some of the cases we previously worked on.
They are aiming to revisit at least 20 closed cases. The La Crosse Fire Department is holding training sessions at the Pink Palace, allowing firefighters to prepare for emergencies in a realistic environment. Some of the exercises include technique training and search and rescue. In December, the Common Council voted to demolish the building for a new housing development. Governor Tony Evers will deliver his State of the State address this evening. He's expected to lay out his vision for Wisconsin's policy priorities for the next year, starting at 7 tonight. A winter hike turned into a rescue mission at Trumpeldor Wildlife Refuge. Viola Finch and her grandfather spotted a deer on the ice. The animal lovers worked together using their hands and feet to help push the deer to safety.
Me and my grandpa went down to the edge of the water and we could actually see ears on the object and we could see that it was moving. Obviously it was scared and it kind of started coming at me, but when its legs would just kind of go out, that's when we knew that like it must have, it's probably in pain or it hurt its legs and it can't move.
Finch adds it was definitely risky. You don't always know how thick the ice is. Yeah, not sure what the DNR would have to say about that.
It's a cutie, though. Hey, as we get into it, our temperatures are probably going to be about 23 degrees warmer than we were yesterday for our high in La Crosse. I think we got 3 degrees yesterday. We'll hold on to mostly cloudy to cloudy skies, depending on what part of the area you're in. Holding on to snow kind of sweeping across the area as we go through the morning and into the latter portion of the afternoon and your early evening commute. So today, 27 degrees expected with light snow, colder tomorrow, and then we're going to warm you back up a little bit gradually going into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for your weekend. Back to the mile.
And winter came to Alabama. This pup could not be happier. Frazier the dog getting his first taste of snow in Mobile. He raced across his snowy backyard as the historic storm dropped several inches. More snow is expected throughout the day. Look at that backyard, Art. They got more snow than us. I'm so jealous. I just want a little bit like that, which I could get today, right?
I will get that for you.
I got my fingers crossed.
I'll get that for you.
Art is getting to work on it, but not too much, okay? Just turn it up a slight bit.
Can I get some more coffee, please?
You're going to need that. Thank you for waking up with us this morning. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your day.